Welcome, Sagittarius, to the month of June 2018. I'm Megan of North Star Astrology, and this is another general transits reading for those of you born with your sun, moon, and or rising signs in the ninth zodiacal sign of Sagittarius, the Centaur. Half man, half horse, with bow and arrow to the sky. Now, the month starts out with your ruling planet Jupiter in Scorpio in the 12th house of where Pisces naturally resides. And this is the house of dreams and the subconscious mind. And on June 2nd, Pluto makes a complete conjunction with the moon in Capricorn in your second house of money and what you value. So you could emotionally connect with what you value in a very transformational way, perhaps even manifesting something very intrinsically valuable to you. Then on June 4th, your ruling planet Jupiter squares the moon when the moon goes into your third house of communications to your 12th house of the subconscious mind. So with this 90-degree angle, your ruling planet Jupiter, the largest planet in the zodiac, the largest planet of the solar system, makes a 90-degree angle to the moon. So from having Jupiter in Scorpio and having it in your subconscious mind, the house of the subconscious mind, to the house of communications, and the moon in the conscious everyday mind you, this will be a bit of a challenge. However, it can open you up emotionally to those dreams you hold dear and or the dreams in your sleep state. And that happens at 10:55. Then on June 6th, the last quarter moon happens in your fourth house of the home in the sign of Pisces at 15 degrees Pisces, 60 minutes. So having this last quarter moon means you will be finishing up last minute projects around the home in a most creative way, and or something to do in a spiritual sense to the fourth house of the home. Then on June 7th, the moon then trines Venus from your fourth to the eighth houses, as the moon in the watery sign of Pisces, also a mutable sign, as you, Sagittarius, are mutable, but now to this very harmonious aspect to Venus in the other watery sign. However, this is the cardinal sign of Cancer. And this is a most beneficial and harmonious trine because both are watery depths from some way of garnering other people's resources and loving and valuing their resources to what it is you want to accomplish within the home base. Then on June 9th, Venus then squares the moon. When the moon goes into your 5th house of romance and creativity, into Aries, the other fire sign, or your sister fire sign, and this is another cardinal placement or cardinal house, and with the moon in Aries, it's going to be fiery creativity versus this square to Venus. So this then may create a little bit of friction. However, it can be also fiery passion, something very passionate. Maybe you'll propose with a significant romantic partner, to and from a proposal. Then on June 12th, Mercury, which has been transiting your 7th house of relationships in Gemini for 28 days, as Venus travels each sign 28 days per sign, now enters your 8th house and enters Cancer along with Venus in Cancer. Then when the moon enters your 6th house of health and work and service given, it then sextiles Venus. So from your 6th to your 8th houses, you'll have possibly a very pleasant emotional interaction in the workforce and among supportive colleagues, and you can then, here again, you can possibly ask for a significant raise and receive it. In other words, support from others, as this is that house that supports or you receive support from others. Then on the following day, June 13th, the moon becomes a new moon as the moon enters Gemini into your 7th house of relationships and others. And then Venus, which has been transiting your 8th house in Cancer, now leaves Cancer and goes into your 9th house, into Leo. So this is your second planet ingress from Venus being in an emotionally sensitive placement to Venus being in a flamboyant, often extroverted and highly romantic placement, and along with the north node of the moon in your 9th house, where you naturally reside, Sagittarius. And that is the house of law higher learning, and the superconscious mind. Then on June 15th, oh, and if I failed to mention this, Gemini is your opposite sun sign, and you may very well have some new partnership come into being. But then on June 15th, Pluto in Capricorn in your second house of money then opposes the moon in your 8th house. So, let's see. Yeah. So here we have a very challenging, but yet, like I always like to say, point of a 180-degree awareness aspect from your emotional state of well-being in the house of sex, death, and taxes to Pluto in a very stolid, stable, valuable manifesto, maybe perhaps station in your second house of money and what you value. And that happens at 7:22. Then, let's see. On June 20th, the first quarter moon, when the moon goes into its first quarter phase in Leo, in your 9th house, Sagittarius, happens at the first quarter moon happens in your 10th house of career and public standing at 29 degrees 4 minutes Virgo. And I hope you can see this because it's getting darker. Then on June 20th as well, the sun squares the moon. So from this mutable sign of Gemini being the air sign, and your other mutable sign, as I've said before, you're a mutable sign. This mutable earth sign of Virgo, giving you that grounded practicality and common sense emotionally to and through others, as well as your significant partner, can help you in a most intellectual, since the sun being in Gemini for the past month has been rather intellectual. And here again, Virgo too, mercurial, both ruled by Mercury. This square can mean the start of something fairly significant, as it gives you the impetus to branch out with maybe a new set of business partners, because this deals with the career and business partner. So there's like some kind of setup with colleagues. Then on June 21st, the longest day of the year, The sun leaves Gemini and enters your 8th house into Cancer. And now you'll have a little bit of the ability to highlight your 8th house of, once again, garnering others' support in quite an emotional way. Then on June 22nd, Pluto squares the moon when it goes into your 11th house of friendships, goals, and wishes in Libra, a cardinal air sign to the cardinal earth sign. So having Pluto square the moon from your 2nd house of money to your 11th house of friendships, you may very well ask for and receive, but it may be a challenge to receive some kind of support from new friends or existing friends. Then on June 24th, a trine occurs from, let's see, yes, Mercury in Cancer trines the moon in Scorpio from your 12th house to your 8th houses. So with this very harmonious trine, excuse me, hope you can see this, with this very harmonious trine, you now have the ability to emotionally connect in a deeply, somewhat psychic way between Mercury in the sign of Cancer to the moon, which is residing temporarily in the Piscean house, also a mutable sign, right here, mutable. And with this very harmonious trine, once again you can tap in to your subconscious mind and garner that much more support for whatever it is you're dealing with. Then on June 26th, the moon, once it goes into your sign, Sagittarius, entering your 1st house of the self and body, then squares Neptune. So from your 1st to your 4th houses, you now have a very challenging bit of fiery to watery house or angular, since this is the angular house of Aries, to the 4th house, which generally is the Cancerian house, but here we have you feeling emotional and able to tap into something to do with yourself, putting yourself first and your home life. Even though there may be a bit of a challenge, but don't let that throw you. Then on June 28th, the moon goes into its fullness when it comes back around full circle into Capricorn and creates a figurative opposition to the sun in Cancer. So Cancer, Capricorn. Then that's when it becomes full at 6 degrees Capricorn, 28 minutes. And then finally, Mercury, which has been transiting your 8th house, now leaves for the full month of June, now leaves on the very last day of June, leaves your 8th house of the watery depths of Cancer and enters your 9th house in Leo. And then Pluto once again conjuncts, this time, a full moon. So now you have a second opportunity to tap into your second house of money, but beware and mindful not to gamble it away. This is your second warning or opportunity to tap into your inner values as well as capitalize on earning big. So, with that, Sagittarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I wish you well. You are here as you are here on Earth. I hope you feel free to like, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and feel free to subscribe. And thank you for looking up upon the North Star. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in July.